into the War Squared Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm Tom with Doc and Seth, and we'll jump into some camp news really quick. Deshaun backtracks to most by proclaiming innocence after receiving an 11-game suspension and a $5 million fine.
Not unheard of. I mean, now that he's free and clear in the NFL once he gets done with this, he can kind of go back and be Deshaun and be, I ain't got no problem. Who's got a problem? Me? I ain't got no problem.
Yeah, and one of the things, this is weird, I don't know if Seth saw it while he was on his Vegas trip or not, but I tweeted out that I was listening to Stephen A. Smith on Friday, and I actually agreed with what he was saying.
Wow, are you okay?
I don't know, I might be sick, I might be ill. He basically said his attorney told him, if you were charged with these things, I would also be telling you to proclaim your innocence and not say that you did any of these things, because if I were on the other side, I'd use that against you and could possibly get you criminally prosecuted. And so I'm a little frustrated with everybody who is lambasting Deshaun for saying he's innocent up until the point that the statute of limitations runs out.
Yeah. One of the issues that I have with this is, who was the victim in this scenario? Was it Deshaun, or was it the women, or was it both?
Well, it was definitely the women. I mean, they were definitely victims of this, but to use one of the things that Seth would probably say in this too, is it's like the Me Too movement is taken over here.
Oh yeah.
You know, and they want their pound of flesh. Well, they're never going to get it.
Not from Deshaun, no.
They just can't. I mean, legally, I don't think Deshaun can say he's sorry or what he did was wrong, or they'll proceed with some criminal charges. Since charges were never brought, they just didn't bring back a conviction in the grand jury, which doesn't mean anything. There's no double jeopardy here. It's not like murder, where you're tried for it and you're found innocent. You can't be retried for it. No, he can be retried.
Yep, he can be retried. Now, you know what I think is a really, really good thing about this story? It goes away for 12 weeks.
I know that was one of the things you said pre-show. It's like, this is the last time we're going to have to talk about Deshaun for 11 weeks. Technically, everybody, just so you know, he won't be suspended until next Tuesday, which is the final cut-down day. Then officially his suspension will kick in. He will be away from the team for 5 weeks. After 5 weeks, he can return to work out with the team and attend meetings. And one of the things they really did there is they didn't want to remove somebody for these long suspensions to where they get out there and they have some mental health issues and
they
start going crazy.
The stability and the scheduling associated with, which is a great idea.
Yeah. We'll move on to some.
We're
done with Deshaun. Injuries to key rookies. Tyquan Thornton with New England broke his collarbone. He's a wide receiver there that was looking great in camp and in the preseason, but he broke his collarbone during the game. Then Kayvon Thibodeau, the number, what was he, 6? Six? Picked by the Giants. He's got an MCL and he's getting a second opinion.
Yeah, well, he's doing what he should do and go get a second opinion from Dr. Andrews just to make sure. If it's an MCL, he's out 2 to 4 weeks, if I remember correctly. And then it becomes just a matter of managing the rehab over the rest of this year to make sure that no further damage is done that could endanger his future. But
probably he's getting a second because he's like, no, this really, really hurts.
Well, dude got off the cart and walked off the field on his own. Went into the treatment tent and then got put on the cart and taken back.
Yeah, but I've seen dudes limp off the field with a torn Achilles.
Oh, I agree. I got this. I'll hop. We're good. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
Right.
But I think that this is one of the reasons why he fell from being the first pick in the draft to where he fell is his toughness issues and his competitive issues. I think this is going to rear its ugly head for the Giants.
I agree. It's a great Giants pick. I couldn't be happier. Lamar and the Ravens couldn't get together, although reports say the Ravens offered him the Kyler Murray deal.
Yeah, but he wanted the Deshaun deal.
He does. I can't
pay me and guarantee it.
I can't see a scenario where I'm Lamar. I don't say I need better than that deal, because what's Lamar done that Deshaun hadn't done?
MVP
of the league, rookie of the year.
Yeah, but if you look at career paths, they're pretty much on the same trajectory, although I think Watson's the better quarterback because he can actually throw the football accurately to multiple people.
Yeah, we'll see. Steve Young's really big on Lamar and thinks that if they really turn him loose, he can be a 4,000, 4,500 yard thrower.
I hope they do this year. I hope they do that, and I hope most of them go to Bateman.
I think Lamar lost a little negotiating power due to top 11 things we saw so far. Number one, Tyler Huntley's a starter in this league.
I told you that last year.
Oh, my gosh.
I figured that, as we did the quarterback carousel throughout the whole offseason, I kept saying Lamar's not going to be there this year. Lamar's not going to be this year because Huntley can play.
Yeah,
now
really well.
The Ravens are going, let's see, first quarterback goes down. What can we get for Lamar trading him to you?
Or Huntley. I mean,
no, they want to keep Huntley because he's cheaper for the next few
cheaper
years.
for 2 years. I wouldn't be surprised if either Tyler Huntley or Lamar Jackson replaces Tommy in Tampa next year.
That's what you said. I wouldn't be surprised if he's in Minnesota, like I predicted earlier. One of the things we're starting to see in this league is we're starting to see players on a rookie deal or lower salary cap deals as quarterbacks, and then the superstars. Everybody else in between is going to be going away because the money's going to become one of the two.
Right.
If I got a quarterback like a mediocre quarterback, Ryan Tannehill, who I think is going to have a great year. But why am I paying him $30 million a year when I can get a kid off the street?
Which is why, we'll get to this here later. And
I can pay him rookie salary and put more talent around him.
Right. It's what's going on with Philadelphia right now with Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, exactly.
He's on his rookie deal still. They've spent a ton of money on A.J. Brown. They're spending money on defense. They have multiple first-round draft picks, and they're just going to ride this thing. If Jalen Hurts doesn't perform this year, he gone.
If he doesn't go from this middle level to the upper to a top 5 quarterback, he's going to be gone. They're going to draft another one and do the same scenario again until they find the one they can invest in that deserves the money rather than just give it to him because that's what quarterbacks get.
Yep. Number 2 on my list, Kenny Pickett. He was number 2 last week. He's number 2 again this week. He's the starter before the end of the year in Pittsburgh.
I don't disagree. He looks good.
He may be the starter at the beginning of the year.
Trubisky doesn't look bad either.
Yeah.
I watched part of the game last week. It might have been 1 or 2 drives that Trubisky was on. He didn't look bad.
I think Kenny Pickett's had 3 incompletions.
That's pretty damn good.
I mean, he doesn't have a ton of yards.
So he's the Big Ben method.
It's kind of the Big Ben method, but he's the old school Big Ben. He's the original Big Ben, where he's moving around and throwing the ball around the field. He's making great decisions. I mean, he looks really good.
Much to my chagrin, it looks as though the Steelers are going to transition from one Hall of Fame quarterback to another above-average NFL quarterback.
It looks that way.
Where I was hoping they'd go through the 5 to 7 years of trying to find somebody, just because I hate the Steelers that much.
That's not happening. Number 3, Malik Willis. Kid took coaching, played very well in the second game. I see a little bit of an undersized Steve McNair.
Undersized, he's taller than Steve McNair.
No.
He's not as thick as Steve McNair, though.
He's not nearly as thick. He's like 30 pounds
I watched
lighter.
the whole game this past weekend, and Malik Willis looked like he was trying to execute a plan, and it was like, I'll throw it because I got to rather than running like I should.
But that's coaching. Yep. They coached him to do that.
And it's great. They threw the ball like you want him to. I think he's 1, maybe 2 years away from being the starting quarterback in Tennessee, but it looks like Tennessee has found the quarterback they're going to transition to in the future.
I think Tannehill's gone.
Tannehill has looked absolutely incredible.
If they don't win the Super Bowl, Tannehill's gone.
If they don't make it run to at least the AFC Championship game, I agree.
Number 4, Pat Mahomes. I think he's going to be just fine without Tyreek.
Isn't that what we've been preaching since Tyreek got traded?
I'm thinking they're going to have 3 or 4 wide receivers or tight ends with 10 touchdowns.
I think they're going to have 3 or 4 wide receiver touchdowns. They're going to be wide receiver number 2s and 3s in fantasy.
Right.
Kelsey's going to be a tight receiver 1. There's not going to be a true number 1 in Kansas City for years to come.
I agree.
Because they're just going to put they're going to put as many as many wide receiver 2s out there and say, Pat, somebody's got to be open. You can find him.
Right. Throw it to the open guy. That's why Jody Fortson, a converted wide receiver to tight end, had 2 touchdowns this past week.
And who's the number 1 wide receiver for the Chiefs in the offseason so far? Preseason this?
Justin Watson.
Yep.
Yeah. I saw you picked him up.
I picked him
Dynasty.
up.
Number 5, one TD went to Romeo Dobbs again this week. I'm telling you, draft him right now in double-digit rounds. You'll thank me at the end of the season.
Looks good, doesn't he?
I hate to throw it out there. Alan Lazard is the number 1 in Green Bay. It's not even close. But Dobbs is a way better draft pick than Cobb or Watkins or anybody else.
We'll see what happens as they go through. I think that Dobbs right now is absolutely incredible. Let's see what he does when he gets around the real defenses that haven't played yet.
Out of the past, I think it's since 2008, the most receiving yards by a Packers rookie was 568 by Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
Yeah, and how'd that work out for him? Isn't he someplace else now?
He's in Kansas City.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I mean, you can't expect Dobbs or Christian Watson to put up 800 yards and 9 TDs.
I don't
maybe
disagree.
9 TDs, but they're not going to have
If they
the
get
yards.
750 with 9, they're going to be happy as pigs in poop.
Yep. Number 6, Lance McCutcheon might be playing himself into the wide receiver 3 role in the Rams. 10 for 183 and 2 touchdowns in 2 games.
2 words for you: preseason. Who's the competition?
It's big numbers. It's 5 for 96 and I think 5 for 87 and 2 TDs in 1 game. And granted, the 2 TDs were in the first game, so I mean, you take that with a grain of salt. And he's being thrown to by John Wofford. It's not that it's Matt Stafford, who is light years better than John Wofford.
I don't disagree. Let's just see what happens after the first 4 games before we start throwing these out there. Right now, it looks great.
Well, we know that Van Jefferson has had surgery, so he's probably not going to be ready to start the season.
Yep.
Number 7, Devin Singletary looks like the lead running back in Buffalo. He has only played with Josh Allen. He had a 5 for 43 yardage line.
Yeah, I don't disagree. He is the starting number 1 running back in Buffalo until he gets put in a real game that counts, and all of a sudden we'll see what happens to his throat, see if he chokes or not.
Oh, I don't like the Buffalo running back situation. What I've seen of James Cook, I do like. I think eventually he could get there, but this past week, Zach Moss got all the goal lines, and he turned them into touchdowns. And he supposedly renewed focus in practice. So
he's Cook's number 3.
That's what I think.
And who does number 3 work for? Nobody.
Number 8, 12.7 PPR points for Gabriel Davis.
Oh.
1 catch, 28-yard TD from Josh Allen. 1 catch, 19 yards from Case Keenum on the second drive. I'm telling you right now, draft him now. Thank me later. 6th round, 7th round. If you can get him there, take him.
If you can get him there, I hope you do in front of me.
Oh my God, I want him so bad right now.
I know. I can see that. I can. If we're not careful, we're going to play the music, the same music we played for AJ Green.
I don't know that we have AJ Green's former.
We
music.
don't, but we need to find something comparable to that. Otherwise, we got to pay that. We got to find something for Gabriel Davis.
I'm telling you right now, Gabriel Davis.
It was Devontae Adams.
Well, there was at first it was AJ Green, then it was Devontae Adams.
That's totally different.
It evolved into the 2. Where Tommy was going to have a threesome with the 3 of them.
I don't know about that. Number 9, Tyrion Davis-Price Lannister outperforms Trey Sermon. Looks like for sure the number 2 running back, maybe the number 1.
Coming soon, the number 1, because Elijah Mitchell will get hurt.
I think so. Joshua Palmer shined for the Chargers against the boys, 3 for 75 and 1.
They were playing the boys. Let's be real.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it was the Diggs, out there giving up people, though.
Yeah,
giving up big plays.
Imagine what he would have had if Diggs would have been on the field.
It could have been 3 for 190.
More than likely.
Number 11, we said draft Kenneth Gainwell, which we found out that somebody in this room took to heart. And when he came in, he looked great against the Browns, 11 for 46 and a TD. I'm telling you right now, Miles Sanders has a hamstring. If you draft Miles Sanders at all, good luck to you. I will not have Miles Sanders on a team this year unless he's available in like the 15th round.
I won't have Miles Sanders on a team unless he's a reserve pickup, probably.
Yeah. Now, Boston Scott did start the game, but I don't think that he is going to really be an impact. I think Kenneth Gainwell gets all the action.
The Eagles are going to regret not drafting a running back in the first round named Brees Hall. They draft him, they solve most of their offensive issues.
I can't disagree, but they traded that for A.J. Brown, so it probably worked out okay.
So we'll talk more about that on the other side of the break. We'll be back. Thank you.
Can't keep the pest at bay? Call TNT and we'll blow them away. For a pest-free home or business, you need the best. You need TNT, prompt and professional pest control with custom plans tailored just for you. Call TNT Pest Control at 209-9225.
Being a crack is one of the most overwhelming and terrifying experiences that you can have. You must then deal with the physical and emotional trauma caused by the accident. Spinal ligament injury is the number one leading cause of pain and disability following a car accident. If you or a loved one have had a car accident, there's a high likelihood that you've suffered spinal ligaments injury. Here at Titan Medical Center, we specialize in detection, diagnosis, and treatment of car accidents. Call us today.
Can't keep the pest at bay? Call TNT and we'll blow them away. For a pest-free home or business, you need the best. You need TNT, prompt and professional pest control with custom plans tailored just for you. Call TNT Pest Control at 209-9225.
All right, so we jump back in. We'll go to the recap of the War Square Dynasty draft, rookie draft that we did immediately following the show last week. It's up on the YouTube channel. You should be able to watch it up there. It's fairly entertaining, and there was definitely a lot more beer drank during that.
There was like 3 drink.
It was crazy. We start with Doc Tim, who was in the one hole. I give him a B+ on his draft. He drafted Brees Hall.
That's because you're chintzy.
Jameson Williams, David Bell, Austin Hooper, and Khalil Shaker.
I deserved an A+.
You did not deserve an A+.
I got the best running back in the draft.
I'm
and
not
I got
sure
the
you
best
did.
wide receiver in the draft.
I-
And I got a top 5 receiver in the draft with David Bell. In the
Top
rookie
5
class-
receiver
in the rookie
class?
Yes.
Oh, hell no.
Alleged.
It's not even close. He's not even, I don't think he's a top 10 of people that were available. I mean, he's good for a 4th round pick, but he's
let's be real. He's the number 2 wide receiver in Cleveland right now. Who's the number 1?
Amari Cooper.
Who can't do anything outside of Dallas.
Well, maybe. We'll see. We'll see what happens with Amari Cooper. I am also, like you, not a big fan. I did love the Jameson Williams pick. The upside there is so high.
I couldn't believe it was there.
After watching the Monday night game with Brees Hall, I'm a little concerned.
I don't disagree, but it was one game. We'll see what happens. It was preseason, and they're still trying to sort the offensive line in New York. With
That's for sure.
With the quarterback who isn't the guy he expected to be there. Now, Flacco had a good game. Flacco looks...
Well, it wasn't Flacco. It was Mike White that played.
Who looked pretty decent, but I don't think Brees Hall is going to have any issues other than the offensive line in front of him.
The only thing that I saw, and here's something that I would point out, is that you had the opportunity to trade basically Brees Hall for Ken Walker, and in my mind, at 2-8, you could have drafted Gabriel Davis. I would make that trade in a heartbeat.
I would rather have the running back that I think is going to be a top 5 running back for the next 5 to 8 years.
I totally get where you're coming from. I just think,
And they don't come across.
I think that's wrong.
They don't come along very often.
They don't. I just don't think he's going to be as good as what you think he is.
And I think you're smoking crack again as usual.
Well, that's possible. Ace Man number 2, I gave him a B+. He drafted Drake London, James Cook at the 1-8, Irv Smith Jr. at the 3-2, Isaiah Pacheco at 4-9, and the Chargers D at 5-2. Drake London, if healthy, a great dynasty player.
If healthy, not only this year but for the future. And who's throwing the ball to him this year?
Right now, it's Marcus Mariota.
Who looked really good the other night.
He looked pretty good against the Jets. London didn't play.
I think the quarterback that's going to be the biggest sleeper that we've covered so far is Marcus Mariota. Because he's back in an offense he's comfortable with, and he has talent around him with Kyle Pitts and Drake London.
Maybe. I'm not willing to go there yet. I want to see a little bit more before I'm willing to go there. I definitely at 1-8 would have taken Gabriel Davis or Damian Pierce instead of James Cook.
Yep. The pick I think that he liked the most was 4-9 with Isaiah Pacheco.
Yeah,
As
so
a Chiefs fan,
Tobin's
which, by the way,
Chiefs
they're not
fan.
very good.
Yeah, right.
That was for
terrible. I think where he got him at 4-9, that's a hell of a pick.
I think
I mean,
too.
he went a lot later than what I thought he would go.
I was looking for him at 4-10 when I came back and when I drafted at 4-10. I was hoping he was going to be there. Then I could turn around at 5-1 and get David Bell. I was hoping to get those two at 4-10, 5-1.
Yeah. Now,
Thank you.
getting Irv Smith Jr., who we expected to really explode last year, but then he tore his, I think it was an MCL. Might have been an MCL and a PCL. I expected him to blow up last year, but he didn't because of his injury. So I'm expecting that he will.
Once he learns the trust in you, I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be a middling to middling plus tight end in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are a lot of tight ends currently on teams in the Dynasty League that he's better than. Like we said, I love Pacheco that late, especially in Kansas. I mean, if this was in Seattle or
Not gonna
Florida,
There's at
wouldn't be
least two or
that
three
shocking.
Chiefs fans who would like to trade for Pacheco at this point in time.
Yep. The Chargers D could be a great upside pick after all their free agent additions, but J.C. Jackson just had ankle
He's
surgery,
out 2 to 4 weeks.
so he's going to be out at least for the first game.
Not necessarily. He might be back in time for the first. The first game's still over 2 weeks away.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think they'll keep him out precautionary. I would give this draft an A had he drafted Pierce instead of Cook.
You know, I would have taken Pierce rather than Cook because I think Pierce is the better back for this year. Cook for the year's future, we'll see with it. We covered
Maybe.
We covered the Buffalo running back situation earlier, and he's the number 3 at this point in time. And I don't think he has enough talent to really differentiate himself from the two in front of him, unless he can be combined
I
together
agree
to
with
be
that.
that one back that they can go to at that point in time, which he has the stature to be able to do.
What we think we know at this point is that Houston has basically told us not playing Damian Pierce in week 2 of the preseason is he's a starter.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt.
So, I mean, that's why I say, okay, well, I'd rather have Pierce at this point than have Cook.
And Pierce has appeared on, if you follow any of the sites at all, Pierce has appeared on probably 9 lists as sleepers to grab in to double digit round like 10, 11, 12.
He'll never last that long.
I don't disagree, especially in the leagues that we're in.
Yeah. If he's available past round 8, I'll be shocked. Zane was next. I gave him a B-, Zane. He did. I kind of feel like I pressured him a little bit in taking George Pickens, although I don't think he would have made it to him at 1-7.
I don't think George Pickens at 1-3 for Zane, who's a huge Steelers fan. He got the player he wanted in the position he had a need at, in a position that the player looks very, very above average at this point in time.
Yeah, I'm not sure he'll be great this year. I am positive he will be great 3 years from now.
In year 3, 4, 5, and 6, he's going to be really, really good.
Oh, a monster.
What he's like this year, we'll see. Just because we don't have a clue what he's going to be like.
Yeah, I mean, he has the potential to equal what Chase Claypool did in his rookie year, have, 800 combined yards and 10 touchdowns. I mean, I think that's possible.
Then I hope he stays on that trajectory and becomes the next great Steeler wide receiver.
Like Deontay Johnson?
I said the next great Steeler wide receiver, not Deontay Johnson.
At 1-7, Zane took former Steeler Juju Smith-Schuster right before Tobin.
Who's upset?
Tobin was upset by it. It was funny. I mean, so part of it, I think, was Zane trying to get at Tobin. But I think part of it's not a bad pick.
It's not a bad pick. Now, let's go on. With 110, he took Kenny Pickett.
Yep.
So are you seeing a theme here, Zane? If you have a Steeler pedigree at any point in time in your life, they scouted you, they looked at you, Zane's going to draft you.
Right. Zane wants
If
it.
they didn't, Zane don't want you.
Right. But what's weird is he comes back at 2-8 and takes Evan McPherson, in division rival Cincinnati kicker.
Great kicker. When
He's
you
a
take
great
him,
kicker.
at some point in time you go, I got to have this guy.
The
for my
best kicker
fantasy team.
available. He was the
by
best
far
kicker
the best
available.
kicker available.
4-8 takes Jalen Tolbert, the rookie in Dallas. Somebody's got to catch the ball in the first few weeks. Now, Michael Gallup did not get put on the PUP.
Yep, he's out 1 week, not 4. and they're going to go game by game after that point in time to see where he's at. He's looking probably at 2, 3, probably more likely 3 before we see anything really pop up with Michael Gallup.
Yeah, so there's definitely stuff to be there. Yeah, he won't start on the PUP is the latest thing that came out. So he will play sometime within the first 4
And I
weeks.
see a theme here. If anybody drafts Gabriel Davis, you give him an A? Is that what I'm seeing here?
Yeah, I mean, if I would have definitely preferred Zane to take Gabriel Davis.
Would he give an A if you would have, right?
Instead of Juju Smith-Schuster, yeah. I would have gave him an A for that.
So because you gave him a B minus.
Because I don't think that he maximized the 3 number 1 draft picks. I think he could have maybe got Pickett where he got McPherson.
Probably he could have, because nobody really has a need for a quarterback except for you as a developmental quarterback.
Yeah.
But now Deshaun's going to miss 11 games and he'll be back, so you'll be happy with that, won't you?
Yeah, it's fine.
And then you traded for a quarterback too, didn't you?
I did. We'll get to that when we get to my team down the road. Next, we have Mr. Chrome, and I gave him a C. Now, at 1.4, he took Ken Walker, which is probably the best player available. At 2.7, he took Albert O. I'm not going to try to mispronounce his name. At 2.9, he took Rashad White, which I liked. At 3.4, he took Nyheim Hines, which is... It's one of those picks that it makes sense. It only becomes valuable if Jonathan Taylor gets injured. At 4.7, he took Alec Pierce, the Colts wide receiver rookie. And at 5.4, he took David Njoku. Now, when he took Walker, it's the best pick that he can make. But then he got surgery for his hernia the next day.
Yeah, and they announced he was going to have surgery the next day. And therefore, announcing that, I moved him down about 10 to 15 spots on my list just because he's going to be questionable. This is also the second time he's had a core body surgery in his career.
That I did not know. Interesting.
And so by looking at that, there might be some type of hereditary issue associated with that. And if so, looks like Seattle wasted another draft pick.
Shocking. Wasting a first-round draft pick by the Seahawks.
On a running back.
Interesting. Albert O., who needs so many reps, he played into the 4th quarter in week 2 of the preseason, and there's a lot of talk that their rookie tight end, and I forget his name, will actually be the starter and not Albert O.
It's a possibility. Albert O was very raw. He doesn't have a lot of background in football from when he was younger, like most people do. But the talent's there, the body size is there. Get him some reps, get him some knowledge, get that muscle memory built, and I think he's going to be perfectly okay.
Now, Rashad White could be ready to step in next year when Lenny is probably gone from the Buccaneers. So I like that pick. That's a good dynasty type, forward-thinking draft pick. Hines is a valuable handcuff to JT. I only had 3 picks. I couldn't get him. I mean, I wasn't going to prioritize getting Nyheim Hines.
Understandable, because even as a handcuff to JT, it's not a very good handcuff because Hines ain't that good.
Yeah, I mean, he's good in spurts.
Yeah, he's good. He's good for 1 or 2 series, once or twice.
He'll have 1 or 2 good games where he'll backflip after he scores 2 touchdowns, and that'll be fine.
And the rest of the time, he's just done.
Alec Pierce has been raved about in camp, but I haven't seen it on the field yet. So I really don't.
Well, what we're finding out is preseason games don't really matter at this point in time, other than to put money in the owner's pockets.
Oh,
what
for
you
sure.
really look at is like the teams get together for 3-day practices on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday before that. And that's what you really look at there, because that's when they do the one-on-one drills. That's when they do the 7-on-7 and that type of stuff. Because if you're going to get injured, they don't want you to be injured in a game playing something worthless. They want you in practice where you can learn and do something.
And you can see a lot of that in the Hard Knocks series with Detroit, where they're really showing the behind-the-scenes stuff. And there's a lot of talk going on right now about moving it to where you're just really watching practice instead of these preseason games.
Which might be the best thing in the world for them, because the Lions have been entertaining.
Yeah. And then his last pick, Njoku, I mean, they paid this dude a lot of money. They're gonna have to get a return on that investment.
Who's going to catch the ball besides Bell?
Well, Amari Cooper and Kareem Hunt and maybe Nick Chubb.
We'll see.
And we'll,
Hold on. We're going to stop here. That
Okay.
way we're going to take more at the break. I only have one thing to say to Mr. Chrome, though. Hope you like them pancakes. We're going to talk
Speaking
about
of
that
which-
more when we come back on the other side of the break, okay?
Keep the pest at bay. Call TNT and we'll blow them away. For a pest-free home or business, you need the best. You need TNT, prompt and professional pest control with custom plans tailored just for you. Call TNT Pest Control at 209-9225.
Being a car accident is one of the most overwhelming and terrifying experiences that you can have. You must then deal with the physical and emotional trauma caused by the accident. Spinal ligament injury is the number one leading cause of pain and disability following a car accident. If you or a loved one have had a car accident, there's a high likelihood that you've suffered spinal ligaments injury. Here at Titan Medical Center, we specialize in detection, diagnosis, and treatment of car accidents. Call us today.
And keep the pest at bay. Call TNT and we'll blow them away. For a pest-free home or business, you need the best. You need TNT, prompt and professional pest control with custom plans tailored just for you. Call TNT Pest Control at 209-9225.
6. We can't do anything there.
Going away from the break, we teased about pancakes. Let's
Yes.
get this clear right now. Okay,
All right.
couple of things. I'm planning upon being there Friday night about 7 o'clock so I can start serving my pittance for me being such a crappy-
Pittance, not pittance.
Whatever.
Pittance.
My team was pitiful, therefore I'm calling it pittance. Couple of things. When people come and eat pancakes with me, who all qualifies as being able to eat a short stack? And take time off?
Anybody in the league?
Anybody in the league? So my wife can't come.
No.
My grandkids can't come.
No.
Your kids can't come.
No. Well, my kid might come, but they don't count towards your pittance.
And anybody who comes to eat pancakes for you don't count for you. They count towards me. Correct.
No.
So let's say
technically,
that
if somebody,
Seth shows up. Seth can't say this is for Tommy because all of them come to me,
I guess,
according to the bet that we made.
I guess. I don't know.
That's a
I mean,
bad
I
example because I will not be eating pancakes that night.
I know you won't. I'm just using you as
No
an
matter
example because
what.
I knew you would say that. Okay, we were trying to get clarification upon whose pancakes counted and didn't count.
I'll probably eat 3 pancakes for you, so I'll probably give you, technically, Tobin, I will give Doc 3 hours this way.
Was Tobin bitching today?
Oh, he's been bitching the whole time. He's like, don't be giving away the pancakes, blah, blah, blah.
What's funny is in another league that we played in, we had a gentleman get removed from the league because he wouldn't eat pancakes.
That's right, boober.
And so I'm going to pay my pittance. I'm planning upon being there Friday at 7, so I can hopefully be out of there by Friday at midnight.
Wow, that is aggressive.
Well, you're going to eat. You're going to give me 3, maybe 4 hours. That's going to get it down to 20.
Yeah.
I can probably kill off at least 7 hours in the first 30 minutes that I'm there.
Oh, my God.
At 3 pancakes apiece. When I was a kid growing up out in Liberal, we had the Pancake Day Parade.
Okay.
And they also had the pancake eating contest. When I was in 7th grade, I ate 60 some odd pancakes in an hour, and they were about that size.
Wow.
And so, now granted, on the way home, I rolfed all over the place.
Right.
By the way, I didn't even finish in the top 5.
That is crazy.
And so I'm looking at this going, I can probably kill off at least 7 hours in the first 30 minutes.
Wow.
Because after that, it's going to go downhill.
And
Oh,
if it
it
does,
is-
at that point in time,
it's-
I'm going, that's 13 hours in.
It is boot and rally time.
There's probably going to be at least 3 or 4 guys from the league come give me a set of pancakes.
Oh, I don't
doubt it.
know. I don't
I
know.
doubt
I wouldn't
would
put my
not
money
bet
on
on
that
that.
bet.
I know Seth's not going to.
I guarantee you Billy's not.
I'll be paying everybody's tab as long as they don't buy pancakes.
Oh, then we're golden. I won't eat a single pancake.
You're a huge raging.
Yes, he is.
Okay, so let's get back to this now that we've got the pancake thing settled. That way we know what's going on and I can get this finally paid and done.
gosh.
Everybody
have to
except
put
for
it-
Zane and Tobin, they can put down some food.
There you go.
Oh,
Wow, that was
hold on,
rude.
Hold on. Now you're changing what you just said.
It's
I
too
mean,
late.
if Zane, Tobin, and I walk into a damn
And all you can eat facility.
an all-you-can-eat place, they're going to say, "I'm sorry, we're closed."
You've
And
been
I'm
here
included
4
in that.
hour.
I'm included in that.
Yeah.
And so you had 10 minutes.
Okay.
Well, jump to pick 5 with the Vengeful Trogs, who shockingly Brad didn't know that the draft was happening.
But then they got auto picked for 1 pick,
They did.
and that was Traylon Burks, the wide receiver for Tennessee.
Yep.
And then they picked 1-9 Chris Olave.
Yep.
Oh, by the way, yeah, no, this is the team that traded me Joe Burrow, not the guy who traded me Jamar Chase.
That's correct.
And then with 2-6, they got Isaiah Spiller, who might end up being the second best drafted running back in this draft.
Currently injured, will miss week 1.
Yep. And then 3-5, Raheem Mostert.
Raheem Mostart.
3-6, Malik Willis. And Brad actually texted me and said, "You want him?" Jerk. No, I wasn't going to take Malik Willis.
Right.
And then with 4-6, Trey McBride, and 5-5, John Mechie, who was an interesting pick. We're going to cover him when we get back to him in just a minute for this. What do you think?
Well, I gave him a B. Had this been after the NFL draft, I was much higher on the Burks pick.
Let's talk about Burks for a minute. Why are you so low on Burks?
It seems like he's just not transitioning to the NFL.
Really? You have not watched his practices last week with the Bucs.
You're right. I haven't watched his practices. I've watched his games.
He has some amazing catches in 1-on-1 and 7-on-7 drills.
I'm not saying that he's not talented. If we go back, you will see that I was very high on him when Tennessee got him because he's basically a faster A.J. Brown.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't like what's going on with him right now.
Well, the conditioning thing that kind of bit him during rookie minicamp and that type of stuff has come back, and now he's in condition. I think he's on the same trajectory as A.J. Brown as far as being able to go into the season and see what he does. Now, is he A.J. Brown? I hope he's better, but we'll see because A.J. Brown's pretty talented.
Yeah. Then Chris Olave at 1-9. Now, Burks here, I'm a lot happier with this. I don't know who else they could have got at 5 that I would have thought was a better
Gabriel
pick.
Davis?
I would have taken Gabriel Davis there. I was trying to move all around the draft, but nobody was interested.
You're talk about
yeah, we'll talk about that.
Up.
Oh, for sure. Spiller in the middle of the second's a nice pickup, especially if Kelly can't fill in for Eckler or if Eckler goes down.
I agree.
I loved Isaiah Spiller. I thought he's a great option, especially as a dynasty option.
I was hoping I was able to get him in the second or third round, depending upon where that was going to make any trades. There wasn't a whole lot of trades made, which surprised me for the rookie draft, especially with
That's what I thought too.
With all these yahoos.
Raheem Mostart is a potential league winner if, and it's a big if, he can stay healthy all year.
Yeah, Raheem Mostert is a incredibly talented running back.
Yep.
Who is what you look for in a speed back who can catch the ball in the backfield.
He's a monster in the Shanahan system, which is what he's in.
And if he's healthy, he might be a league winner, like you said. Now, the chance of him being healthy
not good.
Are the same chances of me playing in the NBA.
Oh, no. They're much greater than that.
Not much.
A lot.
2%?
It's better than that.
Which means it's 2%.
Maybe 5.
Okay. Which means there's 5% chance of him being healthy all year.
Right.
And by the way, there's 0% chance I'm playing in the NBA.
Right. That's what I said. Much greater.
Yeah, that's why. Anything's greater than 0. I agree.
Malik Willis, I think, is a monster pickup. I think it's dumb that they thought you would want to trade for him right there. Why?
Because I'm a Titans fan.
I know, but it's dumb. It'd be like as soon as you get a Cowboy, you go to Seth and say, "Hey, what do you want for him?"
You mean you didn't do that?
Shit, no.
I used to draft people in front of. I had a friend who's a huge Bronco fan. In one of the first leagues I played in, I drafted a Bronco player just so I could trade him for the next pick and a pick next year.
No, I
just
do
because
not.
I knew that's who he wanted.
Yeah, I do not do that type of thing because if it doesn't pan out, you've wasted a pick.
He still won't give me CD Lamb either.
No,
well, that's because he's a jerk.
Because you won't give me anything worth having. He's the number 3.
Deebo Samuels for CD Lamb.
Yeah, I don't want that deal.
You don't want that deal?
I'd rather have CD.
Okay.
I think CD's career will be longer than Deebo's.
Okay. So let's get back to Bradley.
His 4.6 and his 5.5, they both had to be dropped because he didn't have enough roster spots. One of the things that I sent out the day before was saying, hey, look, if you don't have the roster spots available, you can't draft all of your picks. So why not drop people beforehand that you're not going to keep? So they just drafted these guys. McBride was dropped, poached by Billy almost immediately. And, of course, Mechie is a wild card because of his lymphoma issue.
Why couldn't he drop the player, then draft a player?
Because you can only have 25
Why would
players.
you drop a player, then draft a player?
He could have.
But he just didn't because he didn't understand the rules.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't go back through the rest of his roster and say, I'd rather drop this player than draft this player.
Okay.
Again, with this, I gave him a B, but I feel like especially with this, because we don't know about Burks, we don't know about Malik Willis, we aren't sure about Spiller. I mean, if they're all become A.J. Brown, Austin Eckler, and Ryan Tannehill, he won this draft, and it's not close.
I think that Brad has the potential, and Marty, have the potential to have won the draft going away this year. Because if Burks becomes A.J. Brown, and if Olave becomes Michael Thomas,
Not
not going to happen this year.
not old school Drew Brees, Michael Thomas, but
But if he develops into a Michael Thomas at 90%, he might have got the two best wide receivers in this draft.
could be. We'll go over to Skudnick next. I gave him a B minus. 2.5 was Sky Moore, 4.5 was Romeo Dobbs, and 5.5 was Hayden Hurst, who he traded to me for Jalen Hurts, along with Jalen Hurts for T.J. Hawkinson.
So you got Hayden Hurst and Jalen Hurts for T.J. Hawkinson.
Yeah.
Was it good for you?
Well, it was great for me because I got a pure upside quarterback. Now,
You got a top 5 fantasy quarterback from last
for
year.
this year, yeah. I think he is a top 5 fantasy quarterback this year.
That trade might have elevated you. You had the best team in the league.
Oh, no, I
because
had the best team before that, but now I for sure
that's
have the best
debatable.
team.
That's debatable.
It's not.
But that gave you the backup quarterback you need for one game to go along with. Who'd you have the quarterback?
Oh,
yeah.
just Aaron Rodgers.
Just A-Rod. And also gave you the fact being that now you have, if Hurts develops like I think he's going to, Deshaun who?
Well, last year Hurts was 16-9 passing to rushing touchdowns. I firmly believe this year he's 25-5. If he does that, he's the starter going forward in Philadelphia.
Oh, there's no doubt. And you might have won the draft with that trade.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know if I'd go that far. I love the pickup of Sky Moore. It's a total dynasty reach.
Definitely.
And Dobbs, who is my second favorite rookie wide receiver right now, behind Drake London.
I was going to say behind Gabriel Davis, but he's not.
No, he's not a rookie. I mean, Drake London has all the talent and all the opportunity, because what else are they going to have to do in Atlanta besides throw the ball to catch up? It's going to have to go to Pitts or it's going to have to go to London.
Come on, Pitts.
Originally the trade was set. Nick had agreed to it for the 4th rounder, but he selected Dobbs. And so he was
Smart pick.
Hurst was still available in the 5th, so that's when it happened. I would have graded it much higher if Nick was then able to have turned one of his other tight ends into a receiver that he wanted. There was another trade that he offered after he got Hawkinson. I won't really go into whom or what the details are, but it was, if he would have pulled that off, that would have been a very big win for Nick.
Okay. So
Then we have Shooky, who was remote. He gets a B. His first pick at 1-6 was, this is a surprise. It's Garrett Wilson, the Jets rookie.
Jets. J-E-T. Jets suck.
Just in the season already. Now, he did make what may be the best, in my opinion, the best pick of the draft at 2-1, Dameon Pierce.
Good pick.
I mean, this guy's going to be a stud. It looks like he's going to be a stud.
He should be a stud, but he's going to be in Houston, who's still rebuilding. So we'll see who's their offensive lineman behind Tunsil.
You know what? Houston had one good lineman in Dwayne Brown when Arian Foster was there, and he was the league MVP, fantasy MVP, was a monster for 2 straight years.
Yep.
At 3.7, he takes Michael Gallup.
A swing and a miss.
Yeah, it might pay off. I mean, at least he's not on the pup. And then he gets the second best kicker available in Brandon McManus at 4.4. Whenever you say McManus, you have to say it like McManus. I don't know why. It just every time I see it, that's how I want to say it.
Seriously.
Yes, McManus. I don't know.
Can you make the face on camera so people can see you right into the mic?
McManus.
Okay. With that look, we'll be back after the break. I hope you guys come back too, because that look was kind of different.
It was scary.
Different.
Keep the pest at bay. Call TNT and we'll blow them away. For a pest-free home or business, you need the best. You need TNT, prompt and professional pest control with custom plans tailored just for you. Call TNT Pest Control at 209-9225.
Being a car accident is one of the most overwhelming and terrifying experiences that you can have. You must then deal with the physical and emotional trauma caused by the accident. Spinal ligament injury is the number one leading cause of pain and disability following a car accident. If you or a loved one have had a car accident, there's a high likelihood that you've suffered spinal ligaments injury. Here at Titan Medical Center, we specialize in detection, diagnosis, and treatment of car accidents. Call us today.
And keep the pest at bay. Call TNT and we'll blow them away. For a pest-free home or business, you need the best. You need TNT, prompt and professional pest control with custom plans tailored just for you. Call TNT Pest Control at 209-9225.
All right, well, jump back in here and go to Seth's team. Turn your head and golf. I gave him an A-.
You only gave him an A- because he drafted Gabriel Davis. You
You're
homer.
damn right I did.
So if Chrome Dome would have taken Gabriel Davis, would you have given him an A?
Maybe.
But
Wow.
he didn't, so here we are.
So at 2-2, he takes Gabriel Davis, which is the best pick in the draft. Better than Breece Hall. Why?
No.
Why? Because Gabriel Davis is going to produce right now.
So is Breece Hall.
No. Not with the Jets. At 2-3, he takes Kenneth Gainwell. And Seth said he's sitting by Ross in the draft, which he was, and not cheating off my homework, but he still managed to add the best veteran in Gabe Davis. The just mentioned on the pod like 30 minutes before about how much we loved Kenneth Gainwell.
Which is why he took him, by the way. That was his homework for the day.
No,
Absolutely.
I was 100% not listening. I can promise you that.
Then at 3-8, he takes the upside swing of DJ Chark, and at 4-3, McCole Hardman. McCole Hardman, he might have 1,200 yards and 10 TDs for the Chiefs. He might.
And then again, you might grow hair.
I do grow hair, just not well. And then at 5-8, he takes the Bills D, who should
great
score a
pick.
ton of points because they're going to be ahead in every game.
Oh, it's going to be playing catch up. It's going to be interesting to see what the scoreboard does when they play some teams like the Bengals.
Right. Or the Rams. I mean, the Rams game
Remember
could be
the game
45-42.
Remember the game the Chiefs had against the Rams a few years back?
Oh, yeah.
That's what their games are going to be like this year.
Against the good teams.
Yeah.
Against the great teams. Against the
Against
Super Bowl
Cincinnati,
contenders.
Rams, the
Chiefs.
the Ravens, the Chiefs.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see what their defense does. And some of those points are going to be pick sixes.
Everyone was a great upside swing. Gabriel Davis might be a starter for him. Kenneth Gainwell will definitely start on one of his running backs bye weeks, especially if Miles Sanders doesn't play. So
It was a good filling draft for him to give him backup
absolutely.
and depth, which was what he needed with that team because he basically was starting 8 plus 1 or 2.
Yep. Billy's next with a B-. 210. He takes Christian Watson, who I love the idea of Christian Watson after the draft. Now, since he just barely got back to practice, I'm not high on
Give
it.
him some time, man. You are the biggest. He's out of here because he hasn't practiced, or he's great because he's practiced and looks this way. Wait till regular season comes around before you start judging after week 2. Give him 3 weeks in the season before you start saying bad things about him.
Pass. 3-3, Brian Robinson. 3-9, Jahan Dotson. 4-2, Cole Kmet. 5-7, Evan Ingram. And 5-9, Wandale Robinson. Billy didn't pick until late, but he got 2 commodes, which was weird. I'm the commodes fan. First, he got Christian Watson, who may be good, but he hasn't practiced. So, I mean, we don't know.
We'll
I
find out
laid
here.
out. I laid out earlier. My guy Devontae Adams only had 435 yards, I think, with his first year with A-Rod. Jordy Nelson had less than 400, I think 383.
it's going to be interesting to see his development over the next 2 weeks and see what happens in the first 4 games of the season for him.
I heard an interesting thing today that Robinson still might not be the starter for the Commodes because they're just kind of trying to get Antonio Gibson's mind right. Now, I'm telling you, Brian Robinson's going to play.
Is Antonio Gibson still on your team? Because you're trying to hawk him for everything.
He is.
We'll
get to that. Dotson is definitely the wide receiver 2 for the Commodes.
How did he last that long?
Last to Billy at 3.9 because people don't know about him. They're not paying attention because they're the Commodes and it's Carson Wentz and they're like, well, they're not going to do anything, blah, blah, blah. They're terrible.
Carson Wentz goes 27-7, you're happy, aren't you?
Oh, I'm thrilled.
If he goes 30-10, you're happy.
Oh my gosh. Now you're just making stuff up. If he goes 30-10, we may win the East. If he goes 30-10,
not happening.
If he does, we'll be a contender for the East. That is for sure. We're not a Super Bowl contender, not even close.
Then Cole Kmet at tight end.
Fantasy darling. He's what everybody expects for Cole Kmet to take this next jump this year. He started the year last year with Jimmy Graham being the primary tight end. Jimmy Graham's in witness relocation. He's way out of the league.
He
will have the second most targets on the
Dalton Schultz.
Maybe. I'm not a huge fan.
Yep. Evan Ingram.
Evan Ingram.
The tight end for some reason?
Well, Billy's tight end is Rob Gronkowski. That's the only tight end he has. So he had to get tight ends.
Tight end. Gronkowski's gone now.
Yep. So he drafted Ingram, but he already cut him to pick up Jody Fortson, who was the converted wide receiver for the Chiefs that caught 2 touchdowns. Could be Kelsey's replacement. Something I saw in Kelsey, I didn't like the way he looked in that game.
He looks slow.
Something looks like it's
the magical
wrong.
Disappearing tight end that wasn't so magical or disappearing last year, except at times, is no longer the magical disappearing tight end at this point.
Yeah. And then the second to last pick of the draft, he takes a flyer on Wan'Dale Robinson, who's the slot receiver for the Giants, for whatever that's worth.
The only problem there is who's throwing the damn ball.
Yeah, that's definitely the problem.
Billy had a good draft. Billy filled needs with the draft. He filled some depth that he had. Now Billy's the trading machine once again.
Yeah, for sure. He'll make a trade for everyone. He's already offered me a trade. And
take a look at his roster, because in 2 weeks it won't look like that.
Right, for sure.
In 12 weeks it will look completely different. And after the season, it will look like a third of the players on his team now will still be on his team, and 2/3 will be gone.
That could be. Last is me. I gave myself a B+. I drafted Tyler Algier at the 3-1, Zamir White at the 3-10, and Tyrion Davis-Price at the 4-1. These are all guys that are not currently the starting running backs.
And you get a B+ for that?
No, I got a B+ because of the trade. Because I went from having Aaron Rodgers and Deshaun Watson to having Jalen Hurts.
Okay.
That's why I got that.
So on just strict draft, how did you do?
I don't know. Maybe a C. I don't know. There weren't players here that I could really draft that were going to make an impact. There's nobody that I would have drafted in this draft unless I would have been able to use Antonio Gibson, who I dangled out there as bait all through the draft.
It was skunk bait.
Who points wise was a great trade for anybody in the first round, and definitely for Seth's 2 picks in the second round. That was a monster overpay to send Antonio Gibson to them. Any of those picks, if I get in there and I get Gabriel Davis, I smoke this draft. It's not even close.
You give yourself a C now with those 3 picks
A
that
C
aren't even playing?
because they don't matter.
That will never appear a single day on your roster, and that's a C.
Probably this year. Because there's nothing I could have done. There's not a player that I was going to draft outside of Gabe Davis who would make a regular start for me.
So I would give you an incomplete to a D-.
And that's
Gabe
why.
Davis is available, by the way.
Good. Awesome. I'm glad to know that.
Actually, so are the other 24 players.
Yeah, I'd say how many players on your team aren't touchable?
Oh, none.
Yeah,
They're
all touchable, whether you want to pay the price to get them or not, as we're going through experiencing
That's for
this
sure.
as we go
He
through.
is for sale, not on sale. I need to make that very clear.
That's a great statement, because really right now, if there is somebody you want, go get him.
Go make an offer.
I mean, like I said, here, I offered it to Seth several times, pre and during the draft.
To everybody, really.
Yeah, I mean, really, there were a lot of times I just said, look, who wants Antonio Gibson? I'm telling you right now, I'll still be laughing about this, and I guarantee you there will be in 2 of the drafts we're doing next week. I'll probably end up with Antonio Gibson, and he'll probably start and score well for me.
We have an actual soundbite from the draft when he said, "Who wants Antonio Gibson?"
That was very similar.
That's being very generous, by the way. I
Yeah.
thought it was more like the hysterical rolling, laughing on the floor.
It's that too. But, I mean, Tyler Algier, Zamir White, Tyrion Davis-Price, they could all be starters
And they could all
this
be
year.
bust.
I don't think any of them are going to be busts.
That's why I put an incomplete down.
I've seen enough of them in preseason to know that they can play. And then, of course, I traded for Hurst to replace
And that's why this
Hawkinson and picked up Jalen Hurts, which gives me who may be my best quarterback this year.
I think he might very easily be your best quarterback this year. In fact, being you were able to trade for a top 5 fantasy quarterback and a tight end that will probably start a couple of games for you.
Oh, he'll definitely start
For
in Schultz's
TJ
bye week.
frickin' Hawkinson. Do you have pictures of Nick or something?
No, it's just a good trade.
For you,
For him, it's technically overpaid. Hawkinson on the dynasty charts worth 32. Hurts is worth 25. Hayden Hurst is worth 1.
wow, I want to see what crack fiend made that.
It's on fantasypros.com. Probably why I do better in dynasty than you do.
Oh, damn. That escalated quickly.
Yeah.
The truth hurts.
Well, I had a bad season last year because I had a lot of injuries. This year, I like my lineup as good as you like yours.
Oh, yeah, I know. The problem is that unlike you, I'm right, you're wrong.
And I have more depth than you do at this time.
I guarantee you if we take a poll of everybody in the league, they'd rather have my roster than yours.
Put that on the poll. Well, let's find out.
Okay. Real quick before we find out how Seth's gambling weekend went, we want to pour one out for KC legend and Pittsburgh Steelers 1957 number 1 draft pick Lynn Dawson. Led the Chiefs in passing TDs for a season until Pat broke the record in 2018. He led the NFL in completion percentage 8 times, including his last season at 40 years old with a 66%.
Which, by the way, back in
completion
those days,
percentage.
if you completed more than 45 to 50%, you were legendary.
In his 30s, when he led the league in 6 of 7 years, his highest completion percentage was 59%. He also famously enjoyed a Fresca and a Siggy at halftime of Super Bowl I.
What an all-time great picture.
Some
What a
heroes just
all-time
don't wear
great-
capes.
Yep. He doesn't, but you know what?
Yeah,
Everybody toast a Frescans, and if you smoke a Siggy for him. If you don't,
then don't.
All right, let's hear a little bit about Seth's trip to Vegas. How'd it
It
go?
was relatively uneventful. Could have had a really nice swing. Had a couple parlays going that lost one leg. Of course, they always do that. So
that's why you
that
go to
would have.
bet parlays.
Yeah, well, they were strong parlays.
Whatever.
The soccer parlay was a bad beat.
Hold on, you bet on soccer?
Yeah.
You
He's
are
a degenerate
You are a
gambler.
degenerate, aren't you?
I was hanging around with professional handicappers, which that's what they do for a living. So,
Oh, for sure.
How'd that work for you?
It worked pretty well, other than the bad beat on the soccer parlay. When you're up 2-0, you get out of the shower, you go down to the clubhouse, the private little clubhouse that we had next to the sports book, and you realize that they scored 3 goals in 6 minutes.
Woof. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's not good.
So all you do.
Now, how'd you do on the Usman fight?
I don't want to talk about that.
Okay.
Okay, what was I didn't watch this one. How was the finishing kick? Was it as spectacular as I've heard it was?
It was a good kick. I mean, if his hand goes up, he blocks that kick. I think he just got caught, and in that level of athleticism, you can't get caught or you get got.
Right.
I mean, it is what it is. You know,
No,
I'm 30 seconds away or 60 seconds away from cashing a ticket with Kamara Usman by points, which is what I had. I had to go over to the circuit to bet that because the Westgate didn't have that option. But other than that, down just a little bit, a few $100, but
Okay.
after everything,
Worth it.
it was worth it.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Are they going to fight again?
Oh yeah,
That'd be 3,
It'll
yeah.
it'll be at Wembley or it'll be in Europe.
Are you going to go to? Okay, if it's in Europe, you're not going to go. But if it's
No.
in Vegas, you're going to go.
Possibly. That would be a good ticket to go to.
Okay, so overall, what do you think? What other bets should you place while you're out there? Name the main one you bet for the future.
Oh,
Bills.
Yeah, Bills.
Okay, Bills in the over.
Yep.
The,
We'll
the,
see you
the
later.
Bills over win total. I still think Bills winning the division is a slam dunk.
And with that, we're out of here.